right? Like
Yeah.
we'd go work, go make some money. And I think a lot of us quickly realize how much we hate it, right? And I was actually working for a fitness company. I was working for a fitness company as 9 to 5, and we were actually working on at the time. This is past, like I got into like digital products back in college, but kind of like moved to the 9 to 5 thing again, and was working for a fitness company. Basically, our what we did was we made people personal trainers, right? We had the certification to create personal trainers, and we're working on this product, and it was this badass product. It was amazing. And we put like everything into this, like blood, sweat, tears, everything. And when we're ready to launch it, we handed it over to the marketing department, and they like didn't know what to do. They had like they had like a website built, and like nothing was happening. And out of pure frustration, which I think a lot of problems are solved out of frustration, right, out of necessity. I just remember going home. I remember going home that night, and I'm just like laying in bed, like frustrated as hell. And I see this ad pop up from this guy named Russell Brunson, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I had no idea who it was. He's this crazy guy, right? Like he's on the screen just being crazy.
Yep.
And I click this ad, and I click it, and it brings me to a funnel. At the time, I didn't know. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? And this guy's just going crazy. Like, you need a funnel. You want to sell online. You need a funnel. You need this. You need that. Like, use all this stuff. And I'm like, shit, like I need a funnel. So I remember I pull an all-nighter. I go into the office the next day, and I just start decking out this funnel on the wall. And the employees are coming in, and they're like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, yo, we need a funnel. This is how we're going to sell it. So marketing department's already kind of pissed at me because I'm like stepping on their toes. But I'm like, I'm the type of person that like, I just can't sit back. Like, if it's not working right, we have to find a way to make it work. So I go and I sketch out this funnel. I call up our celebrity trainer, who was like the poster child at the time. It's like we made the certification around him. And I'm like, yo, man, you got to record this webinar. Like my colleague and I will write it. You go record it. He records it, sends it back like a week later. We throw it in this funnel. We launch this thing. He delivers the presentation, delivers the offer, and 0 people purchased. Not a damn sale, like just drastic failure. And I'm over here like, damn, man, I listened to everything this Russell guy said. He said, build a funnel, like you'll make money, right? Like just green as hell. Didn't know anything. Yeah. And I remember I got up from my desk and I went outside and I just like kind of sat on the stairs, just pissed, right? Just like cursing up a storm. And I went back in and I was like, let me try one more thing. And I remember I just went to my computer and I clicked on the refresh button, and we had our first sale for like $797, right? Like went nuts, went crazy. And the next day I walked in, I quit, and I set out on this journey to learn sales funnels and digital marketing and like the science and the art behind this entire industry. And for the past year, like the year after I left, I basically just learned under like my mentors who now became my good friends, like Mike Dillard and Dean and Frank Kern and all these amazing marketers, right? Russell too, he's amazing. And I basically started an agency from there and just started growing something into something, kind of amazing. And that's kind of how my journey began.
Dang, that's so cool. So a lot of people might want to know about the time frame. So when you made that from like that first sale, right? You helped that business or whatever, the fitness people, they got that sale. You said the next day you quit right after, or you quit soon after that?
No, it was like right after I walk in, I'm like, I got to figure this out. Cause like, I just have this addictive personality, which is like, it's like my kryptonite, but it's like hurts me, but helps me. So I walk in, I'm like, I gotta do this. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm addicted now. Cause the second, if I don't know if anyone out there, like the second you get your first sale, right, there's no turning back. You're just like, this is legit. I got to figure it out. So it was the scariest decision I ever made in my life. Like I'd be lying if I said I was like, macho man banging my chest. I was scared shitless. It was not, it was uncomfortable. Right. But I knew in my heart, it was the direction I had to go to figure this stuff out. And because like at the end of the day, you have to weigh out your odds. Like I knew the worst case scenario was I just go back to a job. Right. Yeah. The best case scenarios is I make something amazing happen. Right. So it was walk in next day. I'm going to try this stuff out. And for a year, I basically it was tough, but I figured it out.
That's so cool. And a little something you said there, like you realize like weighing your odds. That's something I always tell the people in our group is like, what do you really have to lose? Like, let's say you do try this. Let's say you do start your agency, build your profile funnel, whatever that is. Like if it fails, like you're not anywhere right now. If you need to go get a job, great. Live with your parents. Okay. That's always something you can do. And the only thing, there's only gain. And so that's like an example in your life. I mean, look at you now, what you've done. Like if you didn't take that step, you could still be, working that job, that 9 to 5 and stuff. That's so cool.
And that's what people have to understand, right? It's like the worst thing that happens is you just go back to that. Like literally, like you have nothing to lose. But dude, that fear, that paralyzes nearly everyone on this planet. And like the best piece of advice I give people is like, just make the leap of faith and just see what happens.
Yeah. Test it. It's just like anything else. You
That's it.
you can't really look, you can't really try to assume or guess what's going to happen because you don't know. It's like anything else. You kind of have to
no idea.
just jump into it. That's so cool.
That's
So
what it is.
So you did that. You've been doing it for a year. You jumped into funnels, marketing, went all in. And so I know I went to your website. You run an agency, right? Or you help other people build their funnels out. Is that what your agency does? Or
that's what we did. We closed that. Okay. We closed that down actually.
Yep.
But yeah, that's how we started. So the year went by. The year goes by. And when the caterpillar, myself, felt like I could become this butterfly, right? Open up the doors to an agency. And I was like, this is the best way. Let me take what I've learned and let me try and monetize it by selling my skill set, by doing it with other people, right?
Yeah.
And started this agency basically building funnels, doing copy, creating offers, all this stuff for, different types of people on Shark Tank, people on Bravo TV. Just like I kind of went after that, the high-end clients, I got to that, but I started on Upwork for like $15, $20 jobs, just taking whatever I could, right? I didn't care. I had no ego and pride at the time.
Yeah.
But it just rolled over into this agency, and the agency got so booked and so packed, I quickly realized how I became miserable again, kind of thing, because what I thought was going to make me a boss, I was answering to all these different clients, and it just it kind of pulled the life out of me again. So I closed the doors on it and started doing my own thing.
That's awesome. No, I totally relate to that. I know when we had our my local ad agency, I was like, oh yeah, it's awesome. Like, yeah, it's making 6 figures a year, awesome. But then I wasn't enjoying it, and that's why I switched to just writing copy for higher end clients, because it's something I enjoy. And I feel like a lot of people here, they look at some new opportunity or new business opportunity, and they get into it, and they just think that like, oh, I'm just making a bunch of money, but they don't realize that maybe they just won't enjoy it. Maybe it's not for them. And so for those people that maybe haven't started business or they're still exploring things, what's your advice to those kind of people that really haven't set in on one thing and they're kind of just like limiting themselves to really getting started?
Yeah. So, man, I made this mistake so many times. And it wasn't until I actually had the discipline to do one thing. Most people, when they start, they chase shiny object to shiny object because for a couple of reasons, right? It might be because you don't know where to put all your eggs. You're like, man, what if this works? Then I want to do that. But I also think this is a good idea. So what if that works? And it's the biggest losing strategy on planet Earth in anything you do. Like, you can't burn a candle from both ends. It's not going to work. Like, you can't chase 2 rabbits and catch both of them. So it's like, my best piece of advice for anyone that's like, man, what do I do when I start? Pick one thing and go beat it dead until you become an expert at it. Because most of the time people give up and they think it's like that thing didn't work, when the reality is like, no, you're just not good enough yet. And you have to stick with something. Like, I used to work in venture capital. I would be sitting next to billionaires on my left, billionaires on my right.
Yeah.
And the one piece of advice I left with is they're like, Blake, listen, dude, you might think that you have to throw 1,000, because this is what I thought for the longest time. They're like, you might think you have to throw 1,000 things on the wall and see what sticks. All of us that became billionaires did one thing and just became the best at it. And that's how we won. So if anyone's out there and they're like, what do I start? What do I try and do? I want to do 10 things. I'm going to jump from this to this to this because this isn't working. I would say get rid of that mindset. Pick one thing that you enjoy and just become the best at it, and just do that until it works. I promise you, if you stick with it, it's going to find a way to work.
Exactly. Like, there's no way, if you have discipline and hard work for anything, eventually it's going to work out. You don't want the time frame to be different. Oh, camera's glitching out. It could be different from one thing or another, but if they actually take action on it and work on that, then it's going to turn into something that's, going to work for them. Sorry, my camera always freaks out like this.
Exactly right. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, because I've made the mistake, right? I would do so many different things and it never put money in my bank account. And the time I would just was like, you know what, let me try one thing and let me just try and become really good at it. That's when my bank account started growing and I started becoming good at one thing, because being a generalist sucks. Like being a little bit good at a ton of things sucks, right? It's tough. Like, you're just never going to become an expert. So instead of becoming a little bit good at a bunch of things, become a lot of bit good at a little bit, one thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the key to what you have to do. And I think a lot of people make the mistake and they're just they're bouncing around because they think shit doesn't work, but it's just no, it's just, the truth is you're just not good enough yet, but you will be good if you stick with it.
Yeah. That's so cool. That's so cool. And the question somebody had too kind of relates to that. When you stick to one thing, Louisa here, she builds funnels. I know she builds funnels. She said, how do you stand out from the crowd and find that blue ocean? Like, when you stick to one thing, what is your advice? Because I know you built funnels, right? You're building this high to get people. how did you like book out your agency? Was it organic? Was it branding? What did that look like, and how did you stand out?
I actually used the profile funnel. That was like a big thing that
Yeah,
I used, but I mean, I'm not going to attribute all my success to a profile funnel. That'd be like ludicrous. Like that was part of the strategy, but ultimately, look, a profile funnel crushes it. Like if you don't have one set up, I mean, you teach this too, Josh. So like,
yeah,
get it set up. Period.
yeah,
Right? There's so much you can do with it. It's just it's something that every entrepreneur that's starting online, it's the first thing you should do,
100%.
right? First easiest thing, get it up and running. Like I don't care if it generates you one lead a year. That one lead could be $5,000 worth,
Yep.
and that one lead could be like Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank. You never know who's coming through your funnel, right?
Yeah.
But the way to stand out, it's actually a lot easier than people think. Just be really good, be the best at what you do, and you can't go unnoticed. And I know it's like it's this hard, it's this vague thing there. It's like, wait, what does that mean? It's like, no, like just be really good at something and let people know what you do. Literally, like go post your stuff, go get comments, go get feedback on your work. Like when you see a lot of people posting in groups like, hey, how does my funnel look? A lot of it's because like they know it looks good.
Yeah,
they just want the
exactly.
feedback, right?
Smart, you know,
right? They know their stuff is fire, and they want the world to see it. So there's like strategies you can use to like let people know. But at the end of the day, like the market's gonna tell you how good you are. And honestly, like if you're building funnels right, if you're designing, if you're writing ads, if you're coming up with video concepts, whatever angle, whatever department you want to specialize in, go follow the people that are a couple footsteps ahead of you and get inspiration from them. And like just start becoming really good and publish your stuff out there. And I promise you, that's the number one way to get noticed by anyone.
Yeah, that's so cool. And that's the thing.
Like nothing I say is even, it's not revolutionary. It's just, it requires work your face off and become really good at something. That's kind of the solution.
And that's what I realized too. Like I look and I, get all the programs, I'm joining all these courses and I'm listening to all these mentors. I'm like, how do I scale whatever? And I know like every time I buy a course, I start watching a video. I'm like, I know this is what I need to do. It's just a matter of if I'm going to be disciplined enough to make it happen. And that's something like a lot of people watching this. That's why we do these interviews, is because sometimes it just takes someone like you who is many footsteps ahead of us to just yell at us and be like, what, like just do the simple things to be like, oh, it's really that simple, right? It's like, oh, it's really that simple. And kind of going back to, you talked about profile funnels. I know you have an amazing like program for that. I saw the ad, bought it right away, loved everything inside of it, and have been retargeted hundreds of times afterwards. But with people that are like, what is a profile funnel? I know I talk about so much, but even like we do webinars and people at the end are like, what is a profile funnel? And so how do you explain a profile funnel to somebody who's like, what is it? What do you say?
Yeah. I was, and even like kind of the backstory too, I was shocked. Like I used to go, I would talk about these like across the country at like, masterminds, things like that. And I'm almost, every time I would go in to speak about the profile funnel, I just remember being like, man, everyone knows what this is, man. I'm going to look like an idiot talking about this. And every time I go and talk about it, everyone's like blown away. Like what? Every time I'm shocked. I'm like, wait, y'all didn't like, come on, this is the digital, I'm talking to digital marketers and they're all like, you can do that? I'm like, I thought we all knew this. And like, that gave me the belief of like, oh my gosh, like no one really knows about this. So if you're sitting out there right now and you're like, Blake, what the hell is, the quote unquote profile funnel, right? It's basically like, I actually discovered it by accident, right? Like I didn't reinvent anything here, right? This is, right? I feel like I took a system and codified it into something that is an easy to follow thing for everyone to set up. Dude, there's literally like, how I discovered it was different probably than how someone else might discover. I was out to dinner one night. I was chilling there. I was eating and I was with my girlfriend. And I just remember I pulled out my phone. She hates when I'm on my phone. And I started scrolling and I clicked to someone's profile. And that's when I realized like a lot of people are clicking. Like I'm so nosy on social media. I'm just like, what's this dude up to? What are you up to, man? Like what? You got kids? Like did John score a soccer goal? Like what's going on? How's business going? What are you working on? And I'm realizing like, man, I do this all the time. Like, this is like embarrassing. Like I'm always clicking on people's profiles. And that's when I got to thinking like, man, how many times are people clicking on my profile? So that's when I set up that experiment. Like, let me try this out. And then when I did it, it like blew like 25K in sales in 9 days. I had like $500,000 in like budgeted business like to fulfill on. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, this is a thing, right? And that's when I created it into a system. So a profile funnel is just basically a way of taking your social media accounts, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, right? And you're leveraging the traffic that already exists there because look, if you're on social media, people are clicking to your profile. That's a fact. I would have people like this guy who bought into the system, one of the systems. He was selling Christian rock music.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like a non-believer. I remember because I'll reach out, talk to customers and stuff. He's like, dude, this will not work for me. And I'm like, yes, it will. Trust me. And he bought it. And he's like, dude, I got 8 leads in the first day. I'm like, I told you, man, there's people on your profile. And it's just a way of taking the traffic that already exists on social media. And you know this, Josh. So anyone else that's listening, it's taking the traffic that's on social media, and strictly by engaging, you have an intuitive process, a logistical intuitive process to bring someone from the social media accounts that you engage on to your offers and services in this fluid, non-resistant way. And it's basically you set up a specific type of funnel, right? Could be a lead capture page. It could be a local business funnel, could be a challenge funnel. So, it could be a webinar funnel, whatever it is, depending on the products and services that you offer. And you set this type of system up to where you start driving traffic now to your offers and start generating leads and sales.
Yeah. And it's really, a lot of people are like, oh, it's really that simple. And like, they may be like, oh, I see people doing, like, you look at my account, guys, anybody watch this, it's a profile funnel. I'm sorry. It's a profile funnel. You look at Blake's, it's a profile funnel. We're funneling you into our group. It may be like our course, our chat bot list. And so just like we're doing it, everyone else is doing it, you look around. And so it's kind of like, why aren't you doing it? And I found that like, it works for almost everybody. I've yet to have somebody like come to me that it wouldn't work for. And so a lot of people are out there, they're like, is this going to work for me? It's like, yeah, of course it's going to work for you. Like if you have a service and a solution, go ahead.
I get the same questions that ClickFunnels gets, where it's like, will funnel work for my real estate business? Like you'll go on my ads and stuff, you'll see my ads and I'll get support blowing up. It's like, hey, will this work if I'm selling like, goldfish bowls? I'm like, do you need leads? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, yes, then it will work. Like these people exist. So it's like, it will work. But because it's such this new concept, right? It's like, it's not new, but it's new when you bring it mainstream. Like Russell didn't invent funnels, right? Funnels existed 10, 20 years ago.
Like he tells people like he didn't invent them. Like he didn't
invent it. He took a concept and he brought it mainstream, right? And then that's like kind of the era and the generation we're in now. So it's like, it's like it will work if you need leads and sales, which is every business on this planet.
That's awesome. Now, another thing too is a lot of people are like, okay, organic, great. There's always people saying like, there's always, we build funnels, right? We write copy. You're always trying to position the new opportunity, right? Like, don't, get leads without doing paid ads or da-da-da. And then there's people doing like without doing organic and whatnot. But with organic, like, I feel like, for me, I see it as like, it's like the place you start. Like paid ads is like once you have, you're profiting or you have a proven thing. And so when did you decide to transition to paid ads with your products or services, or did you ever, like for your agency? I know you do it, of course.
Yeah. So we won't even talk about the newest thing. We'll talk about just the profile system, right? The social media lead machine concept, right? I think a lot of entrepreneurs make the mistake early on is that they find success with something and then they go and try and replicate it instantly. Let me give you an example. Someone starts a drop shipping course. Someone does drop shipping and they make $17,263 and they're like, I'm an expert now. Let me go teach the world how to drop ship. And they missed an integral step inside of that, which is like, it worked for you, but now you have to replicate that framework with other people first. And then you have the permission, quote unquote, to go and scale it, right? And I think a lot of people miss that step. So I want to make sure that I wasn't just like, this fake, like, oh, it worked for me, will it work for other people? So I had success with it. I'm the most hypercritical person you'll ever meet about my own stuff. I'm just like, this shit sucks. I'm garbage. My stuff's trash. So I'm like, let me go really like test this out. Right. So I take the concept. And at the time I was launched because it worked for me so well. I'm like, was this a fluke? Was this like, did I get lucky? And I go and test. I was launching the Freedom Fighters Facebook group, right, at the time.
Got it.
And I was like, let me give this entire system to everyone for basically $1, right? I wanted to it was a way of showing my appreciation for joining the group, but more importantly is like, I want to see if this works. Mm-hmm. And that's when I launched it, sat back and saw like an overwhelming massive amount of influx of positive results from people within like days of launching it. Dang. And that's when I decided, okay, this worked organically, right? Phase 2, after you can prove that something can work organically with like more of your warmer and hot market, go scale it. Go see if phase 3 is now see if you can make this work cold traffic. And when I made it work cold traffic, I knew I had something that I could actually scale to the masses.
Definitely.
And that's kind of it. Like, you always want to start organic because it's your low hanging fruit, right? So if you're out there right now and you're like, where do I start? How do I get customers? Like, on Facebook, on Instagram, like organic, like go interact with people, go talk to people, go show them what you have, go provide value, and like see if your stuff will work there first. Once it works there first, then I would put all that money that you make from the sales of organic into paid media strategies.
Definitely. Couldn't agree more. Now, another thing too, a lot of people, another thing they object to profile funnels and organic traffic. They usually say, they're like, okay, well, does it take, years to get a bunch of leads? Because I know when I look back in the day, personal branding always seemed like they'd always say, oh, over time, or it takes a while to build this big brand. But I found with profile funnels, that's not the case. So, what would you say to people? Like, they're like, oh, does it take super long, or is it hard to make a bunch of content? Or, what do I post? They kind of make, it seems a little hard, or they think they have to be technical.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, it's like everything else in life, right? If you don't work, it's not going to work for you, right? Like, there's just that's just the way of it. If you go out every day and you're on Facebook and you're posting and you're engaging and you're talking and you have stuff to share, you have value to give, people are going to flock back to your profile and you're going to generate leads, right? I'm sure I have people that are like, use the system and they generate a couple leads. And then I'm sure I have people that use the system and generate a couple hundred leads, like every so often. So the answer is simple. It really comes down to the more active you are on social media, engaging, providing value, sharing, liking, commenting, you're probably going to drive more traffic back to your profile, because in order to be interesting, you have to be interested. Yeah. So you need to be out there. You need to be like doing your thing. You need to be grinding. You need to be on social media, talking to people and doing that stuff. And when you do that, you almost start, it's like, this person's constantly posting. Like, you're going to get to a point where you can't go ignored, and people are going to go check you out, because whether you feel important or not, people are going to start viewing you as like, this is something I should pay attention to because you are always around.
Yeah, that's so true. That's what I tell people. Like, the goal, like when I build a profile funnel, and like if I'm building up a new one or for myself, like my goal is like, I want people to be so like they see my name so much in my profile picture that they're just like, oh, I see this person everywhere. And like, your profile funnel is working when people are like, I see you everywhere. They start commenting like, dude, we're all in the same groups. Like, you're everywhere. You're commenting, you're liking. And that's how I got started. Like, I was just by accident. Like I said, I was just on Facebook. I was in groups and I was literally giving value away for free because I wasn't selling anything at the time. And I was just like giving it away. And then people started coming to me and I was like, oh, I'm seen as an expert in this group. And so for people watching, don't overthink the content. I don't think like your content, you can make it more professional over time. You can get a fancy setup, whatever. But as long as you're in other groups, engaging, liking, people are going to know who you are. And that's, people tag you all the time. Like anybody in ClickFunnels, they say, hey, who's best organic? It's you and then like that Johnny West guy. Like those are two people. Like, you go in the comments, you're just getting tagged. And so another thing too, for people like, oh, maybe I don't have that much time to like and comment. Like, what are you doing when you first got started with your profile funnel? Were you spending a lot of time doing engaging, or was the 80-20 rule, what I'm saying? Or how much do you focus on one thing or another?
Dude, I kiss babies and shake hands every single day. Like, I'm constantly like, if you go in my group right now, people didn't believe it. They're like, that's a VA. I'm like, that's not a VA, guys. They're like, no one can answer 750 comments after a Facebook Live. I'm like, I can, because I care, right? And it's almost, you have to, we live by this philosophy here where it's like, when everyone else is zigging, you need to zag. And zagging is the opportunity, because it might require a little bit more work, but because no one's doing it, you instantly have this like situation of complete arbitrage, because people are either too lazy to do it or they think it's not that important. So while everyone is like hiring VAs and having them comment, and look, I'm not talking against anyone that does that. At scale, I understand the importance of hiring VAs to help engage on social media for you. But in the beginning, you have such an advantage being behind the keys of a message board or using your phone to literally engage with every single human being that engages with you. And I can't tell, like, there is no better advantage right now than that, because at the end of the day, marketing is about caring. It's about building relationships. It's not about, you can have the greatest sales message, you can have the greatest offer, you can have the greatest everything. But if you just suck as a human and you don't like engage with people and build long lasting relationships, you're just going to have these very shallow interactions. And they're not going to really blossom into something beautiful. So like, the fact that you have a smartphone smartphone and you have a computer, like, and you can go engage with people, it's all I did it's still all I do. Like if you go on my Facebook group right now, like I'm commenting, I'm liking brand new people. Like I'm not, I'm not sitting up on this like high horse right now. I'm still down, be like, what's up, John? Thanks for letting me know, man, what freedom means to you, honestly. And I'm just talking with people. Like that's what you need to be doing, because you don't realize how long of a way that really goes with someone. And like, if you're out there right now and you want to find a way to like really set yourself apart from everyone, do the stuff that no one's willing to do. And that's constantly talking, engaging, and building relationships with other people.
Yeah, that's so cool. And that's something and guys, you need to be doing that. Like it's so important. Like everyone's out there trying to find the new copy and paste, like work right away kind of template. And, and like, great, that's awesome. That's a good starting point. But the only real way you're gonna get to know people and people are gonna want to pay you, whether you have an agency, product, services, if they know you, who you are, what you sell, how you want to help them. And that's something that's so important. I catch myself not doing that sometimes. Like the weeks where I'm not making the most money is when I'm not on Facebook, engaging, helping, and benefiting other people. It's simple as that. I tell people like either you're not posting enough content and engaging, or you're just not adding enough traffic to your profile funnel. And those are the two, I think, the biggest reason. Like that's the reason why people would not be paying you in that sense. So I think that's super cool that you said.
You can't just sit there and do nothing, right? Like you gotta, like, if you don't engage and give people a reason to care, they're just not going to care. Because at the end of the day, you have to give people a reason to care about you and what you do. And you do that by constantly like building those relationships. So like if you're sitting there and you're like, because I was there, right? I've been there. I'm like, damn, man, no one's engaged with my stuff. And I get like 5 likes, couple comments. I'm using vanity metrics to validate who I am as a human online, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, this is so stupid. Like just go out there, provide value, and watch how everything changes. And the second I flip that script in my brain and I'm like, forget this sit back approach, let me be proactive instead of reactive, like everything changes.
100%. That's so cool. And as we kind of get to close here, another thing I want to ask you, because your whole thing is freedom fighters, right? So what does freedom mean to you?
Yeah, man. Great question. Yeah. Freedom to me is being able to have the time I need to impact the greatest amount of people possible. Cause like, I think you get to this point where you realize like, look, there's this famous quote I read. I laugh every time at this damn thing. It's like, I forgot who said it, but it's like, money doesn't buy us happiness, but we all want to find that out for ourselves. Right. Cause like we hear it all the time. You hear it all the time. Like, yeah, money won't make you happy. I'm worth $100 billion. And you start generating income and you start getting to a point where you start gaining this financial freedom and you realize it doesn't. And I truly believe everyone has to find that out for themselves, because we all might be like, yeah, money's not going to make me happy. But deep down, we're like, I still want to figure it out if that's true or not. Right. And being able to have the freedom, like to be able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, wherever I want, it gives me the ability to think of things, of solutions, of massive problem solving on such a grand scale. To have a greater impact, to give other people that type of freedom. So I tell people I like to be the bridge. Like you're here and you have this desire to go here. And what I like to do is basically be the bridge that you can walk over to get to where you want to go. And being able to have the freedom I want gives me the ability to help people do that.
That's so cool, man. That's awesome. And you're definitely doing that. We can see how many people you're impacting your group. And guys, if you're not in the Freedom Fighters group, make sure to go join it. I'll make sure to link everything above, of course, too. But another thing too, I always ask people this, where do you see yourself in 5 years, and where do you see yourself 5 years later? So in 10 years, what does that look like? Do you know, or do you have an idea of where you would like to be? Cause I know it could always change, but what do you see?
Oh man, that's a great question. You know what? Like my business partner and I, we talk about this all the time. We're like, man, no one really, it's good to have a plan. You have to have a vision, right? You have to be in the clouds. Like it's Gary Vee, the clouds in the dirt, but ultimately, no one truly knows what their business is going to turn into, right? Like when Steve, when Jobs and Wozniak started Apple, they didn't know how big it was going to be. When Bezos started Amazon, he had no idea how big it was going to be. When Russell did ClickFunnels, he had no idea how big that was going to be. It's like when you start getting this momentum, then you can start making these predictions like, damn, I'm going to be here in 5 years. So ultimately, I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years. I hope to be doing something similar that still grows and scales an idea that can impact a lot of people and help them achieve the same feeling I got with financial freedom, each and every day. So where am I going to be in 5 years and 5 years after that? Dude, I wish I could tell you. Ultimately, I'm just along for the ride, and we're going to find out where that takes me.
That's awesome. And that's just something for you guys who watch this. Like, you may be thinking like, oh no, should I start my agency? Like, I don't know if I want to do that, or will it last this long, or drop shipping, or profile funnel, how long will that last? Or it's like, you don't know, but it's working right now. Whatever you're doing, like, obviously just jump into it. Like, you might as well, make it work and get started now. So I think that's so cool.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
lastly, for people that may be joining up late, coming here at the end on the replay or whatever, I just want to ask this, like, how important is it to have a profile funnel in your business, no matter what it is you sell? How important is it? Tell these people.
Yeah. So, dude, having a profile funnel, honestly, when you're coming online, I don't care if you're an established business. I don't care if you're a first-time entrepreneur. I don't care if you're a seasoned vet that's been operating online or offline for 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
If it's crazy to me if you don't have one of these things set up.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That keeps on giving. And honestly, like, why it's the definition of passive income or passive lead gen. And it's like, it's the first thing you should be doing online when joining any social media platform is setting one of these things up.
That's awesome. All guys, you heard it from him. You see the success of getting students for himself and everyone else. And so I know I say it a lot, but sometimes it helps to just get someone who's in more steps ahead to just yell at you and be like, guys, you need a profile funnel. And so Blake, dude, I really appreciate you being here. Everyone, make sure to go check out his account. Go look at his profile funnel, because I know you have a great offer teaching more about how to get started with all of that. And do you have anything you want to say about that program at all? I just want to, I know people are the best at selling their own products, right? I can say what I can say, but what do you have to say about your program that came out with teaching people to get started with their profile funnels?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, guys, I called it out of sheer frustration, right? Out of like this concept, to find a way to set this up, right? Out of curiosity, actually. Look, like, I create a system that helps people, that guides them from step one to the end of A to Z, to set one of these systems up on their social media accounts. It comes with all the tools, all the resources, everything you need to knock this out. You don't need design. You don't need any of that stuff. Literally, you're like, I don't even know where to begin. The program I created is designed to help you set one of these things up for your Facebook profile in like 90 minutes. And that's really what it is. So if you're looking to get something set up, I have something. If you don't want to use what I have, like, honestly, just go get this set up. Seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you being here so much. I'm excited to see success that you achieve with everything you got going on. And let's stay in touch and just excited to see where this goes. And hopefully people get out there and start building their profile funnels, because I need more people saying I can't do all the saying. So I'm glad that you're out here telling people to get it going as well. But I appreciate you being here, man. And we'll definitely talk soon. Love that we had to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Josh. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and listening. And I hope you guys have a great day.
Awesome, man. Well, we'll talk soon. See you later.
See you, man.